Hey YouTube, what's going on? Mark here. Happy Monday and happy Kansas race weekend. So therefore, I just got back from urgent care a little while ago. So therefore, I'm here to provide you an update on my condition and when I'll be back in the fight and we can resume our regular scheduled daily lives. Regular programming and resume normal content. So therefore, me and my I went to bed at a reasonable time last night. I think I went at like 4 o'clock, 4:15. I didn't stay up like till the crack of dawn because I know my mom would have bitched at me had I stayed up too late, knowing that we had to get myself checked over. Which, even if you're not feeling too bad to the point where it's not worthy for you to get checked over, it's better to be safe than sorry to get checked over. So therefore, we went to urgent care and I got checked over. And thank the Lord, my non-COVID streak continues. In the 4 years that it's been around since that crazy ass time we had in 2020, and then the vaccine season in 2021 onward, getting our first full, like as in our first full normal year, and since 2019 and 2022, and then that abomination in 2023, and then the redemption year in 2024. I've never gotten it. All my immediate family has had it one time or another. Both my grandparents had it a couple times, twice. My mom had it twice. Just recently she just had it. She had it like over like a week or two ago. My sisters had it a few times, and of course, my dad had it once. But out of the six of us, I'm the only one that's never gotten it. I was hoping that the streak wouldn't end, and thankfully, it didn't. I mean, I don't have it, but thankfully, all I got was, and luckily it's not the flu bug either. Considering even if it was, at least it wouldn't be to a degree like I had in 2017, where I had the flu so fucking bad to the point where I actually almost lost my life in 2017, which is during the 2017 Christmas season. All I have is a sinus and ear infection, so therefore I'm gonna take some antibiotics, some medicine, and then I'll have by I was thrilled to be back in the fight by Wednesday to resume our regular scheduled daily lives. Our regular programming here on the channel over on TikTok, and then guess what? We're gonna be back in Sandy Ridge on Wednesday night, which means only one thing: we get to bullshit some bonus outdoor time on Sunday instead of watching the almost said Brickyard 400. This is not Indianapolis, this is Kansas. Instead of watching the Banquet 400, so therefore we're gonna catch up with all of our friends. Visit with Uncle Jimmy. The Florida house in Turn 2, which is right next to the reservation where Avon and Turn 2, the entrance of the back straightaway is. The two houses across from Rogerson, Jerry Springer man and Richard Dawson lady. So I'm gonna visit with him and catch up with him. Again, I'm sad I missed Jerry Springer lady's friend. Speaking of Jerry Springers and people in Sandy Ridge, I'm sad I missed Megan. I'm sad I missed Donna. I'm sad I missed Julie Wade. All those people that are close friends with the Crouch of Doom's wife, Jerry Springer lady. But I'm sure they'll be back again someday. So you just but those people, well, they're pretty elusive. You just never know when they're gonna come around, and it takes some lucky ass shit to like encounter people like them. And like I said, if I was never sick of this whole time and hadn't been healthy, and if I knew the Sharpie 500 was going to be bad, I would have gone over there to hang out with them instead, and that sure as hell would have been a hell of a lot more fun than watching that whatever the fuck that Sharpie 500 was. So, therefore, there's always next time though, and since we're going to be cleared to like return to our regular scheduled daily lives on Wednesday in terms of life in general, our regular programming in terms of usual YouTube and TikTok content as far as production goes. Okay, so let me see here. The Adventures in Autumn season 4 will resume on Wednesday. They'll be we'll be cleared to get resume our regular programming, usual YouTube and TikTok content. I don't know if I'm gonna record something in Sandy Ridge. Probably not. I'll just probably take it easy and jam out and until I have to stop at someone's house to see someone. You reunite with them, give them a big hug, do a little TikTok with them. But the Adventures in Autumn TikTok dances will hopefully return sometime this week whenever, I get the free chance. So therefore, Sandy Ridge, I have not been out in Sandy Ridge since, I don't even remember the last time I went out there. I think it was, around, Oh my God! I don't even. Hold on, I have to double check this. This Wednesday night will be my first time since September 9th that I've been out in the happiest place in Northeast Ohio. I mean, I sure as hell miss everybody. The only other time, even though it was only for 5 minutes, I was out there with any of my friends out there was with the Queen of Tearing Shit Up and Explosion. But Abby Sorg and Supersonic Fan, the now retired Supersonic Fan 113, which was, I think, Tuesday, which was when the sickness started. When I went to, Oliver's baseball game, which was, it was not a competition, not a, like, a serious base competition where it was where it was winners and losers. It was not all that, heavy in terms like we know, like, the Gavin McMullen baseball stuff usually was during that summer abomination in 2023 during 4th of July weekend, or the football and basketball stuff we normally attend, or even the hockey stuff we're about to attend, and a lot of the even some of the volleyball stuff. It's just like volleyball. This is like volleyball, but to a lighter degree. It was really, really light. And this is one of the more, it still was a broadcast, but it was a light broadcast. Volleyball in comparison is a whole lot lighter, where we don't need to do broadcasts for volleyball to the point where, we need to make it look like a serious, little thing like you're watching on TV. Volleyball is just for funsies, watch, mostly young ladies, play a game that's easy for them, but really difficult for, like, most, I wouldn't say most, that's a poor choice of words. Majority of some, males and young men and boys, unless they're like, to the level of most of the girls, which is more common for girls. I'm trying to say is it's more common for girls and women to understand the game of volleyball than it is for boys and men. So usually we see our young lady friends play volleyball and they understand it better than boys do. Well, some boys do understand volleyball. I just simply don't. I kind of understand it a little bit after, what we saw on August 30th, but I still wouldn't know what I'm doing if I'm in the position. So therefore, those are light and don't need broadcast. It's 75% vlog and 25% broadcast. So if we go to another one, it'll most likely be for Addison Bachman, whose sister Emma's grad party I went to over the summer during season 4 Fun in the Sun, aka the 2024 Sandy Ridge Redemption. So it'll be her turn, not this year, but next year, the 2025-26 season. I'll make sure, and I know damn well I'm gonna get invited to that just like I did Emma, but I want to make sure I get to see her play once before she graduates, whether it be her junior year, if that's still even going on, the volleyball stuff, or her senior next year, if that's already ended for this year, but only time will tell. But yeah, it could have been a hell of a lot worse. I mean, hell of Miss Sandy Ridge come Wednesday night when we come back, and we resume a regular schedule, daily lives, regular programming on YouTube and TikTok, and production on YouTube and TikTok as far as the 4 seasons goes. For the fall, we'll resume that day. It'll be refreshing. I sure as hell miss everybody that I see outside of home, whether it be Sandy Ridge or elsewhere, but health comes first. I thought I was feeling better on Saturday, Friday night going into Saturday morning. I was going to try to tough it out at the original Rangers JV game that Soul Tapes and Creamy Thursday was going to sponsor the halftime show. But my mom said it's better I don't chance it in case I get sicker or I get one of my friends in Ridgeville sick themselves when they were just 100% fine to begin with, and then all of a sudden the next day, boom, they're not fine. So I promise you, when we go to the October 4th, varsity game against Midview, which I will message Ricky B when we resume production on Wednesday. I will text him after I focus on getting better to see if he's willing to take me to October 4th to see the varsity Rangers play Midview. That one's going to be difficult after, based on what happened last year during the freshman game versus Midview, where they shit-stomped Ridgeville. And considering, it's a good thing we didn't go to the game this past Saturday because Avon shit-stomped, the Rangers in a way. So that would have counted for us in the loss column, and we know we want less of that and more wins counted the win column. But if it's a road Rangers game and they lose, then guess what? It's good because it won't even matter because it counts in the win column if they win. But if it's a loss column, if they lose, it doesn't matter. It only matters if we're just a home team. So therefore, I promise you, Soul Tapes and Creamy Thursday will sponsor the halftime show. Spoiler alert! When we go to the October 4th game against Midview. too for the varsity football team, where it's stacked full of my, well-known friends, including a lot of my real life best friends and loved ones, and will be interviewed by Bella Yorks for her YouTube. So shout out to Bella Yorks, as well as Creamy Thursday and Soul Tape. So we will bounce back from this, like I said, and then we're going to try to get back in the fight Wednesday, go see everything goes from there. We're going to resume this, autumn pathway to health campaign until we feel like it's time to stop. I mean, what we will include is whatever we have in store for Sunday in Sandy Ridge. And of course, we're going to be just in time for Saturday when we go with Brittany Peck to see, Nelson play football. That'll be part of the Autumn Pathway to Health campaign, just so this is not too short, even if we are fully recovered by Wednesday. And, Sunday, whatever we got to record in Sandy Ridge, I know we're going to take it easy on Wednesday night in Sandy Ridge, not just do a YouTube video. So Sunday afternoon, we skip the Banquet 400s. Whatever we record in Sandy Ridge will be part of the Autumn Pathway to Health campaign. So therefore, everything's going to be okay, I promise. I mean, it could have been a lot worse, but it can be a lot better. Just got to take it easy. We just got to, get some much needed rest of tonight, going into all of tomorrow. Eat some good stuff, eat some good eats, eat some good meals, drink a lot of good fluids, or the fluids in general in terms of drinks in general. And just so you know, it'll come Wednesday when we're we're all, back in the thick of it, then guess what? It'll feel like, it never happened. Hopefully, if we can take care of ourselves properly the rest of tonight and all of tomorrow, we can go into all of Wednesday. None of the sickness since last Tuesday never happened. As long as we can, get rid of this ear and sinus infection, which all it is, thankfully, then we should be good to go to resume normal activity. So therefore, basically, I just want to let you know what the result is. I was hearing it was the dreaded, I already said the word, so I might as well say it. Dreaded C word. I thought dreaded was it, but thankfully it isn't. It's not the flu, and sinus and ear infection is nothing compared to those two things. That's easy and quick to recover from. So therefore, thank you all for sticking by me, and for continuing to show me all this love and support. Shout out to that, very sweet nurse Ashley, for her service and being her, taking good care of me and being so sweet. Shout out to you, even though you probably won't see this. I don't know if you have YouTube, and I saw you don't have TikTok, but I did add you on Facebook and Instagram too because of how unbelievably sweet you were. So thanks once again, and thank you all for the continued support and love. I wouldn't have made it this far without you, but I know we haven't had much of a season to kick off season 4 Adventures in Autumn, but at least we're getting the sickness stuff out of the way now instead of what happened last year when the season was almost over. It was time for Thanksgiving season after that disastrous Sandy Ridge finale, which was cold and wet. But if we get in that situation again this fall, at least we'll know from last year. We'll learn from our mistake to dress accordingly if it has to come to that. So if a Sandy Ridge walk-off finale happens, we'll dress accordingly, because we dressed accordingly for the 2021 Sandy Ridge finale for that, vaccine season, and it paid off handsomely. We never got sick. I mean, we dressed accordingly, for the 2022 version where it was a little bit warmer than 2021. But we made sure we came in the house, when it was starting to get chilly. It was the chilly weather said time to go in. Otherwise, you're going to get sick in 2022. Which that would have been 4 times, because don't forget we got sick an additional 2 times, like I mentioned in last night's video. But we recovered from all of that. We got sick during this Easter Bunny 500 dirt race at Bristol when we were clogged, and it led us to the lowest of lows, and the summer 2023 abomination, that disastrous Sandy Ridge finale, and then the mild cold and during season 3 of Adventures in Autumn. But it then led us to the highest of highs, which were even sweeter, which was season 3 of Spring is in the Air, and season 4 of Fun in the Sun, aka the 2024 Sandy Ridge Redemption. And whatever the rest of season 4 of Adventures in Autumn has to bring us once we're back in the thick of it on Wednesday, then guess what? It's mostly going to be the highs because, adventure, the fall spooky season sims, that really wanted autumn to be here so bad and rushed through the summer and take it for granted like it doesn't mean anything. Well, they ended up getting their wish. They got their fall season here, but so far, in terms of the weather, in terms of how the weather conditions been like, and so far hasn't been what they expected. So how'd that work out for you? How'd that work out for you, dumbasses? That's why I always tell my YouTube and TikTok audience that prefer one season and prefer content from others the opposite season, no matter which end of the spectrum you're on. Be careful what you wish for because you just might get it and or regret it. And so far, it has blown up in all the spooky season and the fall spooky season Sims faces. It hasn't been, the hoodie and sweatpants weather so far. It still feels like summer. Well, I hope I can get better in time, but faster by Wednesday and beyond. That way I can take advantage of it and, show the fall spooky season Sims how much fun I'm having and my kind of weather during their time of year. So guess what? So far, they're having to suffer. They're having to suffer, like we had to suffer last summer in 2023. So after we suffered in 2023, now it's their turn to suffer. So therefore, I told you this was going to blow up in their face, so I can't wait for the meltdown to ensue on social media if the rest of the season is like this until eventually it's time for us to cool it, until it's time, until when it eventually will start getting cold. I mean, eventually it has to at some point, because I feel like, if this doesn't, calm down by, the end of October, like in 2016, during our YouTube break, and, it still is this warm or somewhere around that, or similar by then. And then we're probably going to have a warm Sandy Ridge finale, which that would be awesome. Kind of like how we did in 2020. But every year is different. Every time period, standalone part of a time period is different than other standalone parts, which makes a whole time period, So every year is different, which every different standalone section of a certain specific time period is specific years different. So it's just weird how all the weather guides and then can dictate that in terms of dictate the climate in terms of the weather at the certain times of year. So therefore, if it continues to be this way until it's time for Winter Wonderland Season 4, I can't wait for the meltdown to ensue from all the dumbass fall spooky season sims of how they didn't get a true fall. Well, that's what you get for laughing in our faces for making us suffer during the summer 2023 abomination. So now it's our turn to make you guys suffer. But anyways, tangents and rants aside, that's all I wanted to come on here to, give you guys an update on my health. So therefore, the content and the usual stuff will resume on Wednesday, whether it be on TikTok or YouTube. So therefore, thanks for sticking with me through thick and thin throughout this whole, this whole mess, this whole difficult time it's been for me personally. Even though, to be fair, I'd be being selfish. I was saying it was just me. There's just a lot of sickness going out there in general. So that's why I always gotta be careful how you go on your adventures out there in the public and the great outdoors with your friends, family, best friends, loved ones. Make sure you're washing your hands constantly, disinfecting, taking a shower like Terry Labonte as much as possible especially when necessary, if it's still hot out like it still is right now, even though fall is actually here for the rest of you, even though it started for me September 6th, I believe. Well, no. Okay, Jocelyn Wanlon's birthday. Then it started for me on September 5th, because September 5th, keep in mind, was supposed to be the fall prologue, and then September 6th, Adventures in Autumn, but inclement weather on September 6th, pushed the Adventures in Autumn Season 4 premiere to September 5th. So, therefore, for the rest of you, it just started, but guess what? It hasn't worked out for you. I mean, not everybody. Anyway, I'm not want to get back into it again. But anyway, I'll just end this video by, giving a brief review of the Sharpie 500 at Bristol. I had high hopes for that race and was really looking forward to it, and was expecting part 2 of what we saw there on St. Patrick's Day when my sister came in town for her Mike Wallace 33rd birthday, with those tires grenading, coming apart like they're going through a cheese grater. And NASCAR did say they brought the same tire package like they did in the Food City 500, but I find that hard to believe because, it was just a night and day difference. No, not because Food City 500 was in the day and Sharpie 500 does at night. It was just, it was just dreadful to watch. I mean, I do like the winner. I mean, I have a problem with him dominating mostly the entire race if the racing product across the board outside of him was actually good, in which it wasn't. The only thing that made that even close to remotely exciting was the minor drama with the chase bubble and who was going to make it to the round of 12 and who was going to pack up and have their chase hopes end after Saturday night. But the one thing that's different about NASCAR compared to the other sports that have a postseason, where unlike the NBA or the overhyped and overrated NFL or the NHL, even the MLB, what's different about NASCAR is that no matter what fan of a driver you are, if your driver makes the chase, no matter their performance outside of that one win, which the win in urine stipulation needs to fucking go because, and I'm speaking of Harrison Burton, as an Austin Dillon fan, I speak of him, or, anybody else, I mean, any driver that, or even Zane Smith, who nearly won at Nashville. Thank God he didn't win as much as I love Zane, but I would say Austin Dillon in 2016, Austin Cindric, in 2022. I mean, Daniel Suarez in 2022, all these drivers that won races and got in the chase just because, they won a race, even though they had no shot at championship. They were mediocre to ass all year. I mean, sure, they should have a shot at the championship all of a sudden just because they won a race and got lucky one time, considering they were like middle to the back of the pack in the standings, but I will give them the benefit of the doubt here. The thing that's different about NASCAR compared to the other sports that were postseason is that unlike the other sports where your season is done and you're have to sit at home on the couch or go on vacation and until the very next season, is that your driver will still get to be on the track. So for the Harrison Burton fans, have no fear, have no sweat. Your driver really should not have been in position for a championship just because he won a restrictor plate race where anybody could win. Just considering that he was like 34th in the standings of all full-time drivers. But the one positive, and I speak from experience as an Austin Dillon fan in 2016, and even 2017 and 2018 and 2020 and 2022. At least he still gets to be on the track. That's the one thing that's different about NASCAR compared to the NBA, NHL, MLB, and the overhyped and overrated ass NFL. Is that your driver will still get to be on the track. So therefore, I mean, NASCAR has some serious work to do with the Gen 7, in terms of short tracks. As sure the short track package goes, it has potential, but they refuse to do anything about it that's actually relevant to how bad the product is, which has me worried that, the Charlotte Roval is going to be a stinker too. And don't even get me started on them wanting them to get rid of it. Either bring them back to UAW Gym Quality 500, or if you can't do that, put Rockingham into place for the Pop Secret 400 to come back. But that's a story for another day, another video. So, I mean, Larson will deserve that win, but sure, NASCAR fans do get mad. Those same NASCAR fans who complained it was a boring race to also get mad if it's too many wrecks. I like a wreck fest as long as it's good, but if it's like gets way too out of control to the point where it's not even interesting, yeah, that's when I complain. I don't mind races where it's not a wreck fest as long as the racing product is good. Hint, the 2020 Chevrolet Monte Carlo 400 at Richmond, the COVID version with no fans. So therefore, there's a difference between that race and the one we saw Saturday night. So therefore, just keep that in mind for those who say, oh, those same fans that complain the race is boring. Well, also complain if it's a wreck fest. Well, if it's a good wreck fest, then that's different. If it's a good, follow the leader race like the 2020 Chevrolet Monte Carlo 400, that's different too. There's a difference between the 2022 Coke 600 and the 2020 Chevrolet Monte Carlo 400, and comparing the two those where that was a good wreck fest and a good, follow the leader race compared to the last night, the Saturday night Sharpie 500 and the 2023 Easter Bunny 500 dirt race. Those two different races that NASCAR fans usually complain about. I mean, the last two I named were not even interesting, but at least the other two previous two I named, the Monte Carlo 400 in 2020 and the 2022 Coke 600, at least those were actually good wreck fest and snooze fest. So there's a difference between a good wreck fest and a good snooze fest, as we're in comparison to a dumpster fire wreck fest and a dumpster fire snooze fest. So keep that in mind to all the people who want to bitch at us for complaining, because But anyway, that's neither here or there. But anyway, I appreciate everybody for their kind words on other social media platforms in the comments thread, and we will be back in this on Wednesday, and the content will resume in Sandy Ridge starting Wednesday night, and then we're going to be better just in time, thankfully, for Nelson Peck's game on Saturday, which will be a broadcast on here on the channel, and whatever content we have on Sunday night to bullshit. I mean, it's all day Sunday to bullshit some bonus outdoor time instead of the Banquet 400 at Kansas Speedway, and October 4th. I hope it'll still be warm by then, considering, we had the varsity Ridgeville game versus, Midview, where Bella Yorks is going to interview us, for her channel interview. A lot of people were recording the game for her channel. We're going to message Ricky B after we, text him after we finish our duties, going out in the neighborhood, seeing our friends again. So therefore, we're going to message him, and then we got that following Sunday, the EA Sports 500 at Talladega, and, the Season 3 finale of Poker Game Night, which will be Episode 4. So, therefore, there's a pretty bunch to look forward to. And make no mistake, we will make a Braden Cole football game soon. And sadly, there'll be no JV games, unfortunately, we will be attending, because the last home game versus my old school, I'm already occupied. I got a doctor appointment that day with my psychiatrist, Tracy, and, I'm running out of time to make a freshman game for Adam, Lucas, and Jameson, so I better find a ride as quick as possible. So have a good night tonight and a better day tomorrow. Take care, everyone. Good night. I will see you all for the next video, whenever that may be. I don't think I'm going to have one tomorrow. I don't think I'm going to have one Wednesday in Sandy Ridge. I'm going to take it easy with my first night back in Sandy Ridge since September 9th. Thursday and Friday, you know the drill. And then Saturday, I think the next video will be Saturday. And then Sunday after that. And then whatever we got in store for October, Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, September, so whatever we got in store from September 30th through October 3rd before the October 4th football game against Midview for the original varsity team. And then October 5th, it will be how many years since the Egypt dream? How long ago was 2003? So if, it'll be 21 years since the Egypt dream happened, October 5th. So yeah, happy anniversary, early 21-year anniversary for me, October 5th. And then October 6th, the EA Sports 500 at Talladega. So therefore, just want to give you guys a quick update on, further update on my condition. And guess what? As long as we continue to take care of ourselves properly, it'll all come together. So see you later, everyone.